Hey guys, Emilio here and Marcus here at SuperTraining Gym, the strongest gym in the West. And today we're bringing you a series of videos on how to become a better lifter on and off the platform, starting with the squat. A little bit about the squat. Maybe you want to go ahead and get into that.
This guy's so serious. So we're gonna go over a couple things, basics. Bar placement, high bar, low bar, how to lock your back in, create that shelf, how to brace, and walk out. So we're just gonna go over some basics today. Try to get you set up under the bar. We're gonna start from the top down, do these series of videos. We're gonna try to get kind of like all the different portions, but today we're just gonna stick with bar placement, how to lock it in, how to walk out. Here we've got Josh, the intern. We're just gonna refer to him as the intern. Okay, so we're gonna have him squatting. So the way we're gonna start, come back here. Go ahead and get underneath the bar. Whether you wanna be high bar, low bar, that's up to you right now. Just kind of go with where you're comfortable. But from there, I'm gonna try to teach you how to lock that in and make that a little bit more efficient. So we've got Josh here, he's relatively high bar. So how we wanna start this to get this locked in, so we've got the bar pretty much even on his back. Then we wanna tighten his back up here. What I like for people to do is like try to squeeze our elbows together, try to bring the shoulder blades together, good. Whether you have the thumb on the bar or not, it's up to you, kind of dependent on the flexibility and mobility. So, but what he's doing a little bit right here, so if we can see this from the side, he's overarching through the mid-back, just a little bit. So if we come around to the front side, we can tell he's kind of overextending the ribs just a little bit. So we want to treat overextending and overarching the same as we want to treat like rounding the back, because it's going to cause the same thing. The hips will drift forward, knees will come in. So what we want to do is from this position, he's nice and tight, everything's good. We just want to tuck these ribs down just a little bit, good. Hips stay back, go ahead and unrack. Good. Baby steps out. And that's it. Go ahead and rack it. So then I'll go through low bar real quick. I think one thing to keep in mind, the low bar, the bar placement on your back can be too low. And I say that because in several federations, you'll get red lights if the bar's too low on your back. So kind of read the rule book, make sure it's not too deep, get it to where you can within the rules, and then just squat from there. So my process, what I like to do is I get my hands set up first, wherever I want them. I'm gonna get in underneath the bar. I like to get a little bit deeper than where I'm gonna set the bar, set my feet in place. I'll drop that bar down right to where I want it. I'm gonna lock it in. Now what I do a little bit differently than some other guys with a low bar setup is I'm going to pull the bar down with my hands and I'm gonna try to turn my elbows up. And for me, what that does is it creates that shelf in my back. That keeps that bar from rolling. So if I pop my chest up a little bit too much coming up with a low bar, typically the bar will want to take off on me. It'll stay in place that way. So I get back in here. I intentionally in my setup, I overarch, get my hips set where I want them to. Nice tight back, push into the bar, drop my ribs down, unrack, baby steps. You only need enough room to clear the rack. You don't need to walk out a mile. You're wasting energy. And from here, you're gonna squat. Now we're gonna go over bracing. We're gonna do it without the bar first. A nice little training tool I picked up from Nsima, one of our guys here, to brace. So what I want you to do is take your thumbs. You can push them into your obliques pretty hard. And as you take a big breath, you wanna fill your stomach and then push into your thumbs. Just like that. So go ahead and give that a try. So the big thing with bracing, a lot of people, it's really important when you have a belt on too. A lot of people don't know how to brace. They just put a belt on, they put it on really tight, and they think that's how it's supposed to hold your back. So bracing, what we do is we take a big breath. We're not taking it in the chest, we want to take it down in the belly. Push into your belt, or if you don't have a belt there, just push your stomach out. Then you hold that. So we're trying to make ourselves rigid here. We're trying to push our abs out, hold that position by flexing our abs and our obliques at the same time. And that's what's gonna hold us in place. So right here, we're gonna go over, go to your right a little bit, a little cue that I like to fix in most people. So go ahead and unrack it, walk it out, go and squat. Now what I don't like is I don't like when people change their elbow position during the squat. So if you watch Emilio, this is really light, so he's kind of exaggerating for us. You can get those elbows back a little bit, go and squat down. When he comes out of the hole, a lot of the time he'll push the elbows forward. A lot of people learn that early on in lifting to try to pop that chest out, but what I don't like about that is we're putting unneeded stress into the elbow and in the shoulder joint, sometimes the wrist as well. And then we are trying to pop that chest out, but what happens is you overarch to the mid-back, stick your ribs out too much. So when it gets heavy, you're gonna overarch, your hips are gonna come forward, knees are gonna come in, you're gonna be on your toes. So we wanna avoid that. Plus, I think if we're doing full power, you're gonna bang up your elbows and your shoulders a little bit. You got a bench still, so we wanna try to avoid that. So what I like is try to get guys to do, just like I told the intern, when we come back here, Ryan. So when we're getting set up, go ahead and rack this. Now wherever these are at, I want these to stay here the whole time. So what I want him to do is I want him to try to squeeze the elbows together right through here. We're trying to get our shoulder blades to touch. We're gonna hold that position, walk it out. Now from here, these are gonna stay in the same position. He's gonna squat, just keep his back tight, push straight into the bar, come back up. The other thing that happens when you're driving the elbows forward constantly is you're giving this bar somewhere to go. So the bar's gonna roll and roll and roll. So if you've got, a high rep set and you're doing that every rep, that bar's gonna start here, it's gonna end down here. So we're changing the angle of your squat throughout the set, which we can't get better that way because you're changing your squat every rep. You good? You wanna rack it?
Just another few things. Everything that we talked about today is important to start doing, not in your later sets, but in the beginning, just with the bar. If you've never done it, you wanna keep practicing it. You will be more efficient. It'll start to show in your reps, in your sets, and eventually on the platform.
Now when we're thinking about hand placement, when you're getting set up for a squat, whether you want to be inside, you want to be wide, let your mobility kind of dictate that. If you're a really big guy, it's probably going to be hard to be in real tight. If you're not that big of a guy, it's probably going to get hard to be all the way out here. So play with different positions there. Get comfortable, get tight. Well, the reason I say get comfortable is you don't want to be in a super uncomfortable position because it's going to take away from your lifts somewhere else. So if some guys want to be right inside where the rings are, some guys want to be all the way out. That's completely up to your mobility. A good indication of probably put your hands out a little bit wider is if your shoulders get banged up, get a lot of shoulder pain from squatting, you probably need to widen your grip a little bit. Also work on shoulder mobility. And then just keep playing with it till you find a spot for you that's going to be efficient. Now, most people are not going to be drastic high bar or low bar. They're going to be somewhere in between. So understand that as well. Play with the bar position on your back. Just make sure you get tight. It might be a little bit higher, it might be a little bit lower than when you are right now, and that might be the best spot for you. You're going to be the one to find that out. So just take your time, practice, pay attention to how it feels when you make adjustments, and just kind of go from there.
That's it for today's technique on squat and how to better efficiently prepare and start your squat. Don't forget to follow us on SuperTraining 06 and Filipino Thunder on Instagram, or Emilio Paez on Instagram. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to contact me or, of course, my coach, Marcus.
Just everybody out there lifting, try to be less shitty and get better.
Yeah, that's it.
Especially you.